Good afternoon from good old Dayton, Ohio. Bunch of bitches. What is with all the owner movement this business season? Does no one want rivalries around here? It seems that owners are trying to find the easiest way into the playoffs. Fucking cheesers. One thing is for sure though. We're going to get some new matchups in Madden 21. You're tuning in to the OMFL News.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. I've been doing this for 20 years, but success doesn't happen in a vacuum. Thank you for believing in me. We wouldn't be where we are today without your support. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Hi, I'm Keegan Hamilton, host of the podcast.
You're tuning in to the OMFL News.
Drug overdose deaths spiking during the pandemic. Our show takes.
Are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going back in time?
This country.
I mean, this isn't 2010. And Tom Dreamy Eyes Brady and Bad Boy Wrestling Gronk aren't what they used to be. This team has talent, don't get me wrong. But I believe they put all of their eggs in some old, stale baskets.
This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Name. Here's another OMFL production.
How about now? Okay, I don't know what happened. I have zero clue why you guys didn't have audio just now. You should have had audio. That makes zero sense, but I apologize for that. I'm sitting here rambling about all of these great things. So basically what I was saying, we'll hop right back into it. I didn't want to waste any time. We're going to jump in. I'm going to cover some of the changes in the rules that we've had, and then I'm going to break the news that we've got that we've been working on, and then finally go and check this thread because new rules are still being voted on tonight that I will release. And so there may be something that I don't cover tonight that is updated here, and you need to go check it out. Number one, we wanted to change our re-sign rules so there's some type of free agency to force owners to think about their team, to think about their cap, to think about that kind of situation. And here it is. You're allowed 4 re-signs in season. So throughout the season, you can sign up to 4 guys that are on your team. If someone refuses, you get it back. It's not a use it or it's not one of these things. If you use it and the guy doesn't take your contract that you lose it, you get it back. You can earn 1 extra for 5 in season with the gold incentive. And yes, if you earned gold last year, you get it right now. You can earn 1 5-year contract that comes with platinum, which takes place if you have a donation of $10 or more. And then any re-sign that doesn't take place out of that 4 or 5 that you get in season, they must take place in the last phase of re-signs right before free agency. So what this means is you can't lowball a guy 10 times before you re-sign him in that last signs of re-sign phase. You're going to have to go ahead and give him a big old fat contract. So keep that in mind, that as you're doing this, we're trying to force a real free agency. You're trying to force guys to have to pay real money for players to really manage their cap, to really manage their team. Don't find loopholes. I am not doing that anymore. If we have to start making up rules because you guys are finding loopholes, I'm just going to get rid of you instead of making new rules, because it's just kind of driving me insane for those of you who like to go out there and find loopholes to use every rule that's in place to your advantage. We're trying to avoid that. So here's what you do whenever you're actually ignore this second part about what we're doing for re-signs. It's whenever you get your 4 or 5, you re-sign them in the game. Anyone who needs contracts after that, you have to re-sign them in the last phase. If you don't get them, they become a free agency, and everyone gets to go in there and bid on them. And then a gold sheet change is we're going to replace the contract that was 20% or something like that in the gold sheet is now going to be 1 XP to a restricted attribute that can be used 2 times per player, and then 1 gold incentive of an extra re-sign. So we talked about that. We're going to avoid the whole rest of that. So as this says, forget the posting. What we were trying to do is stop sniping. And basically, if we think that you're sniping, we're just going to deal with you one-on-one. But one of these other rules kind of helps us get that. You can have all your Madden help assist on. So the big hitter thing, the missile thing, the stuff that helps you switch players, the stuff that helps you grab interceptions, and the stuff that helps you hit stick, those are all allowed. You can have those on. They don't seem overpowered. They don't seem gimmicky. You can go ahead and do this. If you do free agency during the season, there's still a bid. You have to pull it up. Nothing really has changed here outside of, remember, $10 million is the max bid, and any ties moves to the waiver wire, which we will talk about. But basically, we just kind of tightened this one up a little bit. I can't even remember. Oh, that's what we did. We tightened it up with 64 or under can be signed freely. 65 and up has to have a waiver wire. That's changed from 70 last year because we changed our trade rules to be 70 or 65 and up. We're removing the pass rushing norming. That doesn't seem necessary for Madden 21. We will reevaluate though. We're now going to remove the limits of picks, so you can get as many picks as the game allows you to have, but we will limit you to just 2 max first rounders. We are banning the use of defensive tackle until we see that EA has changed that to not make it easy. Right now, it is just way too easy. With a flick of a button or two, you're in the backfield. And it's not about sacks per se, but it is about pressure and messing up the run game. And when you mess up the run game, it just messes everything up. And I think it would lead to guys just running outside in sweeps and counters instead of, giving us good football right between the tackles. So we're going to ban the use of defensive tackle. You can still use defensive ends. Here is another big change. We're no longer going to use the in-game waiver wire. Instead, we're going to make our own waiver wire that will be updated week 4, week 6, week 8, week 12, week 16. And then after the playoffs are over, and what we will be doing is looking at your team, looking at your record, and knowing what kind of owner that you are, and your play style or skill set, we should say. And by no means I think that this is a pretty small gap. So by no means is, Outlaw having the number 1 mean he's the worst player here. It's just he doesn't have a great roster. He isn't a player that wins a whole ton here, and so we're trying to give him the advantage of being at the top. D-Money, who's got one of the, not amazing rosters here, but he's won 7 championships in a row until last season. That's why he's at the very bottom here. So we're going to come up with our own waiver wire and update this week 4, 6, 8, 12, and 16, and then after the playoffs. So there'll be a new change and something new that we're doing. And this is the first one that will go in for our free agency draft that will take place hopefully starting tomorrow as soon as everybody else joins the franchise. And then this will be it all the way until week 4, and then we'll update it in week 6, because week 6, that's when this waiver order determines what your first round draft pick is worth, and we'll have a couple games. This also means, just because you tank, if D-Money goes 0-6 the first 6 weeks, he's not moving from 32 to 1. That's not how this works. I mean, he may move down a couple spots, but his first rounder is not going to be worth, those tippy top ones. And we're just trying to protect teams as much as we possibly can. We simplified the development rule, got rid of a bunch of them. Basically, you cannot touch speed, jump, or kick power, and you can't touch any attribute once it gets to 90. Here's the one that's being talked about right now, and that most likely will go in there. Again, go check and make sure, but most likely we will add change of direction. I don't know that change of direction is an attribute that we want to start letting people change a lot, mainly because maybe change of direction might be completely off limits, because the game change of direction was put in so that linebackers and defensive players couldn't roam. That's been taken out of the game. We don't want to put it back, because all of a sudden we're allowing you to have 95 change of direction. So again, go check back on that, but that's probably going to happen. We adjusted the offensive percentages here just a little bit. Basically, I'm trying to think of what kind of come out of this, but I think it was the excessive use of bunch formations, 40% or more, and then the RPOs was the big change. RPOs options combined are a limit of 25 of your total plays, and so your quarterback actually running is 25% of your total plays. Here's the offensive one, free agency one that I was talking about. Winning bids must be 5. I will admit, if you guys start sniping and abusing that, it will go to 10. And so if you bid, it's going to have to be 10 higher. Right now, the board talked me off the ledge. Actually, they didn't. They just outnumbered me, because it was going to be 10. It's 5. You can tie a bid. So if a guy's got a bid of 95, you can tie that bid at 95. But if you're going to go over it, you can't go 96. You got to go 100. I think 10 is the number, but right now it's 5. So we'll see. Same thing as always. All bids must be color green. No 1-year deals until after the draft is over, and then you take whatever the game is offering. And any owners that are found sniping, please don't snipe. It's just not going to be pretty. So I'd rather you not snipe, and that would be really, really nice of you. Removing the attribute changes of hit stick. You can now add hit stick at any time. It's not overpowered like it used to be, and we're not removing high motor or rack, or we're not doing any of this. We're not touching Madden. We're leaving it untouched as much as we possibly can. The caution plays are still the same. Here is the addition is now, and maybe this was in last year. I don't think it was, but now you can tell your defensive line to crash left, crash right, crash center, crash out on the snap of the play. Do not abuse that. Now, I will say that Madden does benefit the team that gets it wrong. So if you crash right and I'm going left, it does benefit me, but it's just not something we want to see. We don't want this to become a guessing game. Oh, I think he's going left, I think he's going right, and then you're crashing every single play. Use it, but use it sparingly, just like cover 2 zone blitzes, and then crashing the offensive or the line of scrimmage at the snap of the play with a guy that you are controlling, and definitely not flicking the stick down, which sends everybody after the ball carrier. That is a massive no-no, and you will get in trouble if you do that. Not in trouble. That seems petty. You're not children, but you're just not going to play here. How about that? The following defensive rule changes have been made. Again, you got to rush 3 at all time. I'm trying to think exactly. I think we just simplified it. I think we took out some of the roaming stuff because roaming really isn't a thing anymore, and so that's kind of gone away, and so we try to remove some of those rules. Now, take a drink of water. Are you guys ready? Is everybody still awake with me in chat? Let's get to some breaking news. Do you guys want to see some breaking news? I don't think anybody wants to see breaking news. They've fallen asleep. I've somehow put the entire league to sleep tonight that is logged in to watch this. You know what? Since you guys are asleep, I'm going to add some music. We hear. I love that. Let me add some music here.
Tires and the occasional temper.
It's probably going to blow your ears out to start. My apologies. No,
whatever
not.
it is you want to make happen, Valspar is here to help.
All right.
Because
got some
every
music. We're going to turn it down just a little here.
Look great, last long, and help you get the job done right. Valspar.
All right, here we go. Let's talk about the big thing that I have been working on, and that is
Hey, I'm Flora.
You can now hire coaches, and this is what I mean. We are giving you coaching staffs. Now, of course, this is something that a lot of people have asked for in Madden for a very long time, and we've seen our buddies over at Soden Bowl. They inspired me with what they did. And so I started tossing around some wild and crazy ideas as I normally do. And we kind of helped hone those with some of the board members, and then shout out to my boy Cly who helped us out. And we created a coaching staff positions. Now, this is going to be a little confusing, and some of you will struggle with this, but hang in there with me. We're going to help you figure it out. So here is what we're going to do. This is not the one that I want, so can I go back? Oh, no. Can I go back with this button?
Now with our mobile app, it can also be in the palm of your hand.
We're going to go out of here. So we're going to come back to this forum because this forum is very, very important. We're going to go to the waiver wire. You're going to see OMFL coach staff bidding. And this is actually going to start Friday, Saturday morning. Going to start it Saturday morning. That way people have time to watch this and people have time to get ready. So here's what you're going to do. This is your coach staff thread for Madden 21 season 92. A new one will be put up each and every season. They will be locked. You cannot reply to these threads because instead you have to make your own thread like this example thread, but we'll get to that in just a second. We've created over 75 coaches, and by creating, I mean we just copied names from the NFL to assistants in the NFL to top college coaches. But we have 75 coaches that have been listed. Each coach brings with you or brings to your team a very specific boost. And so you can see here, we've broken them into elite coaches. Let me see if I can come down here. We've broken them into high-level coaches. And then we've broken them into offensive or defensive coaches. And so these are specialty coaches, offensive or defensive coaches, and then finally position coaches. And so each one of these are a tier below. Each one of these coaches have a minimum bid. So for your elite coaches, a minimum bid of 13, a maximum bid of 15, all the way down where each level kind of goes a little less on the minimum bids, all the way down to your very bottom position specialist, which is a minimum bid of 5. Every coach in the OMFL is given 20 points for their team. You have 20 points total max that you can use to hire 2 staff members. You must hire 2 staff members. You either hire 2 or you don't hire any, but you got to hire at least 2. You're not forced to do this, I suppose, but you will be at a disadvantage, and you must hire 2. So it's either a none or 2, because we can't have one guy going all in on players with all 20 of his points. Okay, so every owner gets 2. Owners can earn 3 extra points with gold incentives. So gold, you get 3, silver, you get 2, bronze, you get 1. Again, adding to those incentives so that you guys will participate with us. This is going to be auction style, which will happen in this forum right here. So you will start a thread, and we'll show you that in just a second, that titles your team or titles the coach, and then in the body titles your team and how many points you're auction style bidding on that player or on that coach. The bids will close after 24 hours of the last bid. After the 24 hours, we'll look at the highest bid. If there's a tie, we go to waiver wire. If you tie with a coach and you know he has a higher waiver order, you post that you're pulling your points, you get your points back. You cannot drive up points, okay? You actually, now that I'm saying that, because I know some of you. I know what you do. I almost said a name, but I know what you do. You cannot go making 50 bids on coaches to drive up the prices so you get the one guy you want. So here's what we're going to do. If you put a bid on a coach, if someone else ties you, your points are tied up into that coach until we close that thread. Once that thread is closed, you can put those points on someone else. No cheating. Stop beating the system. You peoples, you know who you are. You break the system all the time, and I always have to make new rules. You think too much about this stuff. Anyway, last bids close in 24 hours, and then any bids will be given back to you. If you do not win that, we will move to the waiver wire, which we talked about a little while ago. An owner may fire his staff if you do not make the playoffs. It is your decision. Okay, so if you don't make the playoffs, if you miss the playoffs, it's your decision if you're going to keep your coaching staff or if you're going to fire them. If you're going to fire one of them, if you're going to fire both of them, it's your decision completely. Remember though, whenever you bid on a coach, if you don't fire that coach, you don't get those points back. You still are stuck with whatever points are left. So if I tie up 15 points in one of my coaches, but I fire the 5-point coach at the end of the season, I only have 5 points to go after another coach. You don't get a fresh 20. If you make the playoffs 2 years in a row, you automatically lose your coach. Both of them. They go immediately back into the free agent pool. Non-playoff teams can bid on those coaches, but you also have a right to go in and to bid on those coaches. This is just replicating what we see in real life NFL. Playoff teams, Super Bowl teams, their assistant coaches get hired up by other teams. If a player or team changes ownership, you're stuck with those coaches for the rest of that season. But when that season's over, you can let both of those coaches go if you so decide and start off fresh. Go look at this list yourself. I'm not going to bore you by looking at each of these, but we've put a lot of time, energy, and effort about thinking of these. This is our first ever attempt at this. We may get into this and go, that was a cluster, throw it all away, or hey, that was too much of a boost. We need to change this, change that. But this is where we're at. Every single one of these give you different boosts. So the very top of their coaching position gives you boost for the entire team. The next level gives you boost for 2 position groups. The next level, the last level in that group, gives you boost for 1 position group. Same with the high level offensive coaches. So these are offensive or defensive coaches, right? You get the same thing. Actually, I'm sorry, I've got that all messed up. So it's elite, high, and then I think just regular position coaches. So it's offensive, elite, position coaches, elite, specialists, elite, offensive coaches, high, position coaches, high, position specialists, high, and then finally offensive coaches, defensive coaches, and then specialists, right? So each one of these kind of goes down a layer as you go down here, but we still think that these are boost worth going, and it's going to be adding a fun strategy. It's going to be a fun strategy to kind of add here. So when you want to bid on a player, Oh, let me go back here. When I want to bid on a player, sorry, this takes a long time. I don't know why, but it just does. This is your example post. They need to be done exactly like this. Outlaw, looking at you. Exactly like this. Season, whatever season we're in, coach bidding, then the name of the coach and what type of coach they are with the minimum bid that you have to post. That's the title of the thread. Just remove example and replace everything else. And then in the body, it will look like this. New Orleans Saints place a bid at 13 points on Coach Andy Reid because that's the minimum. Of course, I'm not the Falcons, but I was just trying to give you some examples. The Atlanta Falcons place a bid of 14 points. Dallas Cowboys place a bid of 15 points, the max on Coach Andy Reid. The Cowboys are awarded Andy Reid at the end of 24 hours because he bid more points than anyone else. It's pretty simple. At least in my little head, it's pretty simple. After we get everyone their coaches, this is going to take place for the entire offseason. So as soon as we advance into the offseason, bam, this is going to be put up and you can start hiring coaches and doing what you need to do. As soon as you have all of your coaches, you have a second job to do. I put in my 2 bids. I won my 2 bids. They were closed. The winner was posted. I'm going to come up here to League and Team Media Hub. There's a coaching staff subforum, which I misspelled because I'm an idiot. So I will fix that. That's what happens when your fingers are slower than your brain. Here are your posting instructions with an example. I don't know how else to make this easier. So here's your posting instructions. You will post a title of your team name, what season we are in, and then coaching staff. And that is your season's coaching staff. And in there, you will post the Saints hire offensive coordinator Brian Kelly, which gives me he's a normal coach, which gives me 2 XP for strength for the entire offense. And then I have to list my entire offense. Yes, you have to help us with this. We need tracking. So I will put Drew Brees, he was 45, but with this boost, he's 47. Tyson Hill, he was 65, he's now 67. I'm going to list my entire offense. Or if it's 1-2 position groups, everybody in that position group. If it's 1 position group, everyone in that position group. And every attribute, what it was before the boost and what it is after the boost. Same with the defense. Saints hired position coach Ed Ogeron. He gives 3 XP block shed for defensive tackle on defensive end. Cam Jordan goes from 90 to 90 because he's already 90 and you don't get a boost above 90. We're not trying to give you a bunch of superstars. It caps at 90. So he stays at 90. But David Onyemata, he goes from 82 to 85 block shed. And I would list the rest of my defensive tackles and defensive ends. You must do this to help us track this properly so that we have a constant running tab of everything that's been done. Because when you lose your coach, we get to put him back. And then when you get your new coach, we got to put him back. So here's the example post. New Orleans Saints, season 92 coaching staff. I just copied and pasted. It's the same thing. Saints hire offensive coordinator Brian Kelly. What he gives me, all of my team. Saints hire Ed Ogeron, all of my team. And then these will be closed once they are done and those changes are made. So that's it. That's the breaking news. You can now hire coaching staffs. This is all going to take off in the next 48 hours, both the free agent draft and the coaching staff hires. We're going to start playing preseason games. We're going to get to our 48-hour advance or 72-hour advances. We're going to get rolling here really soon. There's definitely some bugs that Madden's working out. That's why we're playing the preseason. We also want you all to get warmed up and get used to playing this game. We also want to work out any bugs with our sliders. It gives us 4 games to figure that out. We won't play the preseason every season, just this first one. Gives us time to get rosters set, give you guys time for trades, all that fun stuff. And then we're going to jump right into it in probably like a week and a half or so with week 1 of the regular season. So I'd love to hear what you're thinking about that. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that this is something exciting. I know some of you are going to be like, oh, that's a lot of work. I don't want to do it. You definitely don't have to. But yeah, this league has always been about engagement and giving you guys something and we're giving it a try. Like, at least give us the benefit of the doubt to try it. If it flops, we'll get away with it. It's just one season, it's fine. At least we're trying something. And I think this is a great way to try it. Again, we're talking about +3 for one attribute is kind of the max, or no, it's 5 XP max, but 3 on one, 2 on another. And we try to pick attributes that would not be complete game changers. Now, you're not adding, 5 throwing power to quarterbacks. You're not adding 5 speed to receivers. I think we even did away with some change of direction. I'm not sure, but we try to keep these to where they're flexible. They all come with benefits. They all kind of have their own way to do it. And it's going to add some real great strategy to the league. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Let's see, Vike says, quick question. What if the defensive tackle went from 82 to 85? What if he gains 6 block shedding? Would he go to 90 since the +3 would make him 91? That's a really good question. Number one, if you get +6 block shedding in one season, kudos to you. You're doing something right. I'm definitely doing something wrong. Please teach me with an all-22, because we need you on an all-22 podcast. I would say yes. That's going to be really hard to track. We will do our best. It would be awesome if all of you were really amazing human beings and told on yourself of hey, this guy went above the cap because of the boost. I doubt that's going to happen. So there's just a really good chance that if you don't catch it, we don't catch it, you get away with it. But we're talking about 1 XP. I just don't see somebody getting away with it massively. And these will be reevaluated every single season. And I'm kind of taking this on. I've asked the board to help me. Of course, we will also open it up to see if you guys want to come join the board to help with this kind of stuff. But I think it's worth trying for you guys and seeing if we like it. So good question. Cool. I think there's just 3 of you on right now. So I will not elongate this for no reason. You guys are not actually showing up on the stream chat because it's not long enough. That's what she said. But anyway, this should be fun. I hope that you enjoy it. We're going to go ahead and take this down and maybe go play some Madden or some PUBG, since all I've done is talk OMFL tonight. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you have a really great rest of your week. We'll blast this out to everybody so that they can learn about the new rule adjustments. Again, check back, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to ban change of direction being added to at all. And of course, get ready for all of this to take off really soon. So I hope you like it, and we'll see you again soon, guys. God bless you. Peace.